Guys, so today I wanted to talk to you about, we had that ridiculous, insane ice storm up here in northern Michigan, and there's so many devastating things going on all over the places. I thought I would share how we were kind of prepared, how I think that some other things that we need to do to change to be prepared, and I'm hoping to just kind of offer advice on whatever level you're at, so that you can go ahead and be prepared as much as possible, right? You can't control nature. You don't know if something devastating comes along that you can't, that you got to like leave your house or do something different like that. So you got to put that in God's hands. But I think being prepared helps you feel more in control and safe. Because when those events happen, it's an SHTF event, right? It can be a small one personally. It could be a whole region. It could be even wider than that. You got to be able to think your best and then perform your best, because everyone starts to freak out, right? There's that fight or flight going on, and you don't know what you're going to do in those certain situations. So it's always good to just kind of know in the back of your mind that you have a plan. There's some preparations, that you're going to be safe, that you know how to be safe. You're going to have enough food on hand and such like that. So I just thought I'd share some stuff about that. It's not a prepper video by any means. It's just it's basically like that saying. It says, hope for the best, but plan for the worst. So I want to inspire people to try to plan and be better prepared for things. And this isn't just like, have flashlights and batteries on hand. Because one, flashlights barely run on batteries anymore. They're all chargeable, right? And then when you're out of electricity for 9 days like we were, I still have friends that are out at 2 weeks. That's a long time to be without things, right? And without electricity in some cases. Some people have had to abandon their homes because they didn't have anything available for them. They didn't have food on hand. They didn't have a generator. There's no electricity. You can't flush your toilets, all those things. So you have to kind of uproot you and your family to somewhere else. And thank goodness we could get out of the areas, and people had family members that they could stay with and stuff like that. But what if you could just stay in the comfort of your own home and be okay? And I feel like that's how Justin and I handled it this time. It was stressful. And there were times, again, where you're not in control and you don't know what's going on. And it's very scary and stressful, but we have provisions. We were safe, and things really, really worked out. God really just was with us, and we handled it really well. And I'm thankful for that, very much. So I thought I'd do this video. So here's some things about these are random notes I started taking over the time that we were going through this whole event, which was an SHTF event, hands down. It was completely catastrophic ridiculousness. And we're still coming out of it, and it'll take years to clean up woods and stuff like that. But so things, we knew that the storm was coming, right? You never know. Sometimes the weather people like to blow things out of proportion. And I think that kind of numbed a lot of people. You're like, nothing's going to happen. But this time something did happen. So I always am preparing. I'm making sure that our Berkey is filled up with water. I have extra water on hand. We always have food on hand, and that is not an invite to come over for this, but we always have food on hand because we grow 80% of our own food, raise it and stuff like that. So I had wholesome meals that I can easily peasily, cook with, and I'll talk about cooking in a little bit. But so you got to think outside of the box for your preparation. I even moved things away from the windows for easier cleanup. So I have this, where there were trees, because you knew that the trees were going to be affected. I didn't want the trees to come in through the windows and then glass everywhere. And then whatever was around that area, that glass shattered. If that happened, it did not happen, thankfully. But then I would have to throw all that out, because you can't pick the little shards of glass out of everything, right? So I didn't want to lose that kind of stuff. So I literally just moved stuff away from I only had one window I had to do this from, but that was just kind of thinking, and it made me feel better knowing, okay, if this was moved away and a tree came in with the glass, then maybe I wouldn't have to throw out everything like that. So just kind of weird things like that. Make sure your tanks are always filled up, like your cars, right? Those should always be filled up. You should have extra tanks. I mean, like gas tanks, like the smaller gas tanks and stuff like that. We fill those up and rotate them out. But the thing with gas is that you can't leave them sit too long, or it just I don't know, goes rancid. I'm not really sure. So you got to kind of rotate that stuff up. But you could fill up your car every once in a while when you think about it, and then fill up that, keep those gas cans going. And you need more than one, you need more than two, you need more than three, you need more than four if you're running a generator, which we'll talk about that in a minute. A big one, this is funny, have your toilets cleaned, because that saying about if it's yellow, let it mellow. If it's brown, flush it down. It's so silly. But like, if we didn't have power for 9 days, that yellow mellow, I mean, even though we were able to flush every, once in a while, it's gross, right? And just as the comforts, it's those things that we're so used to being able to do, washing your clothes, flushing your stupid toilet, having electricity where you can flip on whatever all the time, charging your phone, stuff like that. So you got to kind of think about those things about, I know that seems silly, but have that, have your toilets cleaned. If you know a storm's coming, vacuum, fill things up, have food ready that you can just, have those cans of soup or whatever that it is that like, this is what I'm going to do when this power goes out so we can still eat good. For me, have recipes ready that don't use what you don't have. So we had a propane, we have a propane, so a gas stove. So that is great to be able to use, right? If you're having electric, it takes a lot of energy from your generator if you even have a generator. I can't use my oven. So just kind of having things like in the back of your mind, like, okay, how do I cook if I don't have power? Even if it's 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 2 weeks, right? Or longer. We don't know. I can tell that the weather patterns are getting wilder, and power outages are happening more frequent each year. And so things just, you can even make a binder, like a preparedness binder, just so okay, I'm going to go open that up and look at that so I can calm down, right? Very stressful events. You need to be able to calm down and think correctly. So just kind of stuff like that. So for the gas tanks, so what happened here, we had the storm, power went out, all the insane amount of ice, everything was breaking, all the power lines were broke down at that end, which then sagged a couple of them here. So the power lines were a couple feet off of the ground. We couldn't get out. We have another area we thought, well, maybe we can get around. We can't get out that one either. So you've got the power lines. At that point, you're not really sure if they're live, if they're not live. I mean, who wants to test these things out, right? And this was a couple days into the storm, and we needed gas. We had a lot of gas, but that generator was using quite a bit. And we don't want to run out. You got to keep that going. So here's the power lines. We need gas. You can't get out. It was kind of like that was like a, oh crap, what do we do kind of moment, right? It's a panic, scary moment. I know you're going to be like, just calm down. But no, when you're in that moment, you don't know what to do. So luckily, thank goodness, our neighbor his truck was not inside the area of the power lines. So my husband could go with him to go get gas. So I basically felt like I was sending him off to war. Here's your chainsaw, your money, your gun, and your all your gas cans to fill up. I didn't know what they were going to encounter. Everything was completely destroyed. It took him 2 hours to do a normal 20-minute drive, stand or get in line for 2 hours to get gas, and then come back. They used that chainsaw to help other neighbors out on the way. They had to cut their way out just to get on the roads to be able to go and get gas so we can come back. It was insane. It was intense. And at that time, our phones were still working, so I knew he was okay. He was texting, got here, did this, coming back, all that good stuff. But so what we thought, and then we got this after the fact. This is a siphon. So just a pump siphon, whatever. I don't even have it. It's just, we got this from Amazon. I'll leave a link down below if you'd like to check it out. I don't think it was very expensive. This way you could siphon gas out of your vehicle. Because what if we didn't have a neighbor? What if you live in the middle of the woods? What if it was even possible that you could drive anywhere because you didn't have a chainsaw, can't operate, whatever. A lot of what ifs. So this is just a small thing that you can go ahead and siphon out of your vehicle, at least so you can keep your generator going, so you don't have frozen pipes, that you are not, that your kids are, you know, as comfortable as possible and everything like that. So I really liked, so that we have that on hand just in case we need to siphon it from other things or whatever. This is a really good thing as well. This is a very small, but it works and it's helpful. It's a solar power, very small, pretty affordable. And you can solar charge it, right? You can also plug it in if you had electricity. So this would be something that maybe you would want charged, knowing that you're going to possibly lose electricity, but you can solar charge it as well. And then it has a flashlight on it too, but then it has a couple different connecting type of things in here that you can go ahead and charge your phone, right? What if you didn't have electricity and then now you don't have your phone because your phone died because you were surfing on, you know, YouTube too much or something like that, checking out the Food Prude channel. But so that way you can go ahead and have a little bit of power. It's slow. It's not, but it works. And it's, again, it's just that security backup that you have something extra. And again, it's not expensive. You can definitely go full bore on those type of things, but that's just a smaller thing. Because I know everyone's budget is a lot different, and it's, you know, it's hard to think about all that kind of stuff. So let's see. Let's talk about the food while I got a couple of these things out here. You know, so I talked about being in that flight or fight thing, and people, you know, you're running out of food and stuff like that. And having food on hand is so important, but the food that I suggest you have on hand is food that you're actually going to eat. I'm not saying like dehydrated powdered eggs, unless it comes down to that, but like having food that you're going, that you actually are eat, that's nutritious. I saw lots of people like right away going, is the Burger King open? Is the McDonald's open? Well, first of all, I'm a food prude, so I can't stand the fast food situations. But second of all, when you're stressed out and then I know it's a comfort thing sometimes to go out and just reach for that easy meal. But if you already have programmed yourself to do from scratch cooking, you can, my saying is, food is your fuel. So fuel it the best. If you're fueling it with stuff from fast food, you're not fueling it the best. Bottom line, I don't know. I mean, you could probably argue with me, but you ain't going to win. So you need to have those wholesome, nutritious, caloric type of things so that you can function better, right? In a stressful event, in a stressful situation and stuff's going on. This can be a small stressful situation for like you personally of going through something of a struggle, or it can be catastrophic on a bigger level as well. But all those things, so you got to think about food, right? My whole thing is food. That's why my channel and my website is Food Prude. So you got to make sure you're taking care of your family first, and not in a selfish way. We all want to be out in our community helping each other, but you've got to make sure you have that strong foundation of taking care of you and your family first so that you can physically and mentally help others around you. If you are in an emotional distress, what good are you to others? So make sure you stop and pause, and it is okay to take care of yourself and your family, your immediate, and then reach out and branch out when you are able to. So this whole, I just, shouldn't feel guilty for making sure that you are safe and okay, and your kids and your family and whomever you are living with or not living with or right around you, take care of those as a priority. Let's see. All right. So for food, we have a simple setup outside that we used for maple syrup when we first started a couple years ago. I've used it to also boil down tomatoes to make tomato sauce, and I even water bathed all the tomato sauce outside, which was great. It's August, it's hot. It's really nice not to have all the moisture in the house, and it's just, I love being outside. It is literally just cinder blocks, in a 3 like this, and you can put some here to help keep the heat in. And then I used a cook grate that is, I don't even know if it's Coleman. I don't even know what brand it is. It's so rusty, and who knows, that you use for camping. And instead of, it has those legs, we actually flip the legs, it's upside down. So the legs here. So then it was very level on the fire on the cinder blocks there. And then we have a large cast iron 7-quart Lodge Dutch oven thingy that you can cook about anything in. We also have other cast iron things. You can use stainless steel, but I think those are going to burn a lot quicker. Obviously, I would never recommend anything that's coated or Teflon, but though having those cast iron on hand, I always use cast iron. So like I just get rid of the other stuff and I use cast iron. So those were really great to be able to put outside and cook on a fire. There's plenty of stuff to usually burn, right? So we used that. I cooked a whole chicken out there, put water in the bottom, cooked a whole chicken, used the chicken and made quesadillas. We eat it plain usually the first time. You can dip it in barbecue, whatever. And then open up a can of green beans. You can boil potatoes and have mashed potatoes that was from the fire. I mean, you can just go on and on about cooking on a fire. Like, go back to the prairie. That's exactly how they lived. And it feels really good. It's really, really fun to be able to cook outside and kind of master that where no one does that anymore. And that is a phenomenal skill to have. So I even made pizza. So I do a lot of sourdough. You don't have to have sourdough. You can whip up anything. I always have flour on hand. That's one of my bulk things I always have on hand. I made sourdough. I came up with new recipes. I came up with this delicious buttery fry bread that we made several times out there. It was so good. I made pizzas and I cooked everything out on the cast iron outside. And then you just put a lid on to keep the heat in a little bit to melt the cheese on top. You just got to watch your fire if you don't want to have too much fire or too less of a fire, anything like that. So all kinds of stuff that I was able to make up there. You can even make your own homemade tortillas to finish up those quesadillas, I mean, the possibilities really are endless. I found it was actually not that good. I tried to do like a big loaf of bread out there, and that was really hard to control the temperature without burning the bottom. So that one I would like to improve upon for myself to try to do that. But that's why I came up with the recipe for the fry bread. So anything like small, thinner, garlic bread, anything like that, all those things can get cooked very easily out there. You can also go ahead and I've never used it, but this is called an alcohol stove. So why it's an alcohol stove is because alcohol gives off very minimal amount of fumes. Like, you can't cook in your house with, like other things like kerosene and propane. I mean, people do, don't get me wrong, but this gives off a very little, it gives off heat, but it gives off very little fumes that you can do it in a smaller space. So it literally just is this. You fill this up with alcohol, put it underneath here, and you light it on fire because guess what? Alcohol is flammable, right? And then you can use a little tiny pot on here and you can boil water or whatever. And that's a total survival. I mean, this is a good little camper thing too. It's very light and then very easy to use. Of course, you'd have to carry around your fifth of vodka or whatever, that you're using, but that's another thing as well. I also got this. This is a camp stove. And this is really fun. If I can get it out. Let me just talk about it. So this is a camp stove that actually you burn sticks. And then you can, I should have opened this before I showed it to you or started talking about it. So you can burn sticks on it. I'll just show you. So you can burn sticks on it and then you can charge your phone. So you can also cook on it, but you can burn here and then you can charge whatever devices that you need to have here. This is a little more expensive. I asked for it for Christmas or birthday a couple years ago for my mom. So I know, so weird, but it's fun. I like being able to be ready and prepared and just kind of test the limits on stuff. And so that one is a pretty cool thing. It's from BioLite. I'll leave a thing down below as well. So you can go ahead and cook and charge your phone and you're just burning something, right? Turn that energy into something that you need for your phone and everything like that. So I think those are the things that I was going to show and talk about. So just think outside of the box. Look at your budget. Oh, big one. Geez, generator. I don't know if you don't have a generator, I think it should be priority number one to have a generator because even if it's in the summer, you want to be able to keep your food frozen. You want to be able to flush your toilet. So we have a generator that is backfed into the power box thingy out there. I'm not the power guru here, but we had to have an electrician. This is costly, but I think it just proved that it was definitely worth the investment. So with things that are expensive, what I suggest you, like, I don't have the money, Laura, shut the front door. start putting away a little bit of money each month. Okay. Put something away if you can't do it right away. And then when you can, go ahead and do these things that are really, really priority. That generator absolutely saved us, especially because we pay the electrician to backfeed it, and we take the generator out there. We do a certain setup, plug it in, and then it powers the house. So there's no extension cords. So like some people have full house generators. We don't have that. It's like a partial house generator. I'm not sure. Then we can go ahead and flip the things on the switch. I'm getting tired. So we flip the things on the things that we wanted powered up. So we learned that we needed to have our sump pump on because we had so much rain and so much stuff melting that there was some water going underneath of the house. Big no-no. Do not want that. So after it was off for 9 hours, and then we realized, oh, we need to have that on. Luckily, my husband dawned on him to go check. So thank goodness. So sump pump on. We had our well running so that we could flush toilets when it was brown and needed to go down. And then we could also water all of our animals and wash our hands and just feel those little tiny comforts that just make or break a situation, right? So that's really good. And then we could also power, anything else that we wanted to. Like I like to have a fan run at night, so I was spoiled with that. So we really were very comfortable considering what could have happened if we weren't ready and prepared about all the good stuff. So there's also you could buy a propane generator or a dual propane gas generator. You can do a diesel generator. There's all different kinds of things. Again, if it's not in your budget right now, go ahead. I would highly suggest to put that money away and start getting something like that so you can do that. Even if it's a generator where you have to run the extension cords, it's better than nothing, right? And we had heat. We have an outdoor wood boiler that provides heat for our house, so we were super comfortable. Pretty freaking blessed, if I do say so myself. I appreciate that. So that's the generator. And then this is a funny story. When the power came back on, so it's day 9, it was like 9 o'clock at night. My son noticed that the lights from some of the poles out there were turning on. And it dawned on my husband, the power's back on. I have never seen him so happy. I swear to God, he like skipped like a girl out there screaming, hooting and hollering, just like, the power's back on, the power's back on. So hallelujah, the power is back on, right? That was hilarious. So lots of stuff going on. I hope this helps you in any capacity, even a tiniest thing. If you have something to add that is positive note, please go ahead and put it in the comments. I would love to hear from you. Build each other up, build a community up, let it kind of click and dawn on people like, oh, I should have that, right? We're all thinking about in different directions and stuff like that. So what helped you? What could help you? What do you have? What would you like to have? Anything like that. I would love to hear from you and just to support each other. And I appreciate you. And